little balky weather here in Seattle, but it's not a deterrent here at wonderful Safeco Field with the roof extended. We're ready for baseball. It's the finale of a 3-game series. The Mariners and the Baltimore Orioles, and the Mariners looking to get a sweep. Welcome to Mariner Baseball, everybody, here in Seattle. Dave Sims and Mike Flowers as we get a look at Michael Pineda. Let's take a look at the Baltimore lineup that he'll be facing today.
Thank you, Dave. And for Buck Showalter, Felix P.A. will get his first start of the series, leading things off. And Adam Jones has swung the bat well against the Mariners. Matt Wieters with an opposite field home run in last night's game. Then Reimel, Reynolds, and Andino round out the 9 for the Orioles. Numbers for Michael Pineda, great numbers. ERA to 2.42, 263 and a third innings pitch for him. 66 strikeouts to just 19 walks. And the defense, Saunders in left, Gutierrez in center. Mike Wilson gets started in right field. Each of the DH today. Rodriguez at third, Jack Wilson at second base, and Miguel Olivo will do the catch.
Mariners playing some outstanding baseball. 12-3 of their last 15. Best record in baseball as we look at Felix P.A. Look at ball one. Bill Miller, a home plate umpire. James Hoy at first, Phil Cuzzi at second, Mike Malinsky at third. So Pineda coming off a no decision against the Yankees prior to that. 2 outstanding performances against Minnesota here at Safeco Field and at San Diego, where he went 7 innings in both of those games. Slashes one left field, drops in off the bat of PA. The Orioles have their first man aboard.
And Michael trying to get settled in, throws a fastball, ends up jamming PA, fights it off into left field. A soft line drive for a base hit.
Here's Adam Jones, a former Mariner, against his old club, but this year, this is the 6th and final game. O's and the M's. AJ's 8 for 16. Mariners trying to return the favor. They were swept in Baltimore. Adam Jones had a very good month of May swinging the bat. He and Guerrero. Jones was 8th in the American League in hitting, .343 in the month of May. 0-2 to Jones. As we've seen a few of the recent starts, boy, when he gets that slider, I think it was what series was that? That was the San Diego game. When Pineda had that slider, had guys way out in front. Same for the Minnesota game. Add that to the fastball. That's a potent combination.
It's a little bit unusual, his slider. The speed on it's about 82, 81, 82 miles an hour. He'll top out at 98, 94 so far for him. When you take that much off of your slider, just having to cheat to catch up to his fastball, you see a lot of bad swings.
He's got Jones 0-2. Runner goes, swung on and set to center field. Gutierrez taking charge. About that comeback last night by the Mariners. Jeremy Guthrie dominating the Mariners until 2 outs in the 8th. Can't make the grab at first. I was talking to Eric Wedge about that before the game. He says, that's baseball. I said, that's the all-inclusive answer. It works all the time. Well, leave a door open, get a base hit, and a home run.
Well, the key to it all is exactly that. You have to take advantage of mistakes, and the Orioles made one on that play. And the Mariners were able to take advantage of it. They have their hottest hitter, and Brendan Ryan, come up to get a base hit. And, of course, Justin Smoke with the big home run.
Go over to first. PA 1 for 1 in base stealing.
You know, the other thing, too, we showed it before we started the game today, but the base running mistake by Scott also ended up costing. You don't think about it because it's early in the game, but when you know it's going to be a tight game, those things come back to get you, and that certainly helped the Mariners out as Figueroa threw him out at third base.
Big second out in that inning. Vic Markakis, the batter. Yeah, that was Scott on a ball hit by Reimel. Should have been first and third. Guerrero's shocked as anybody. How about Markakis playing first base for the first time in his big league career?
Played a little bit of first base in college, but it's been a while. See how he does defensively today.
I'll tell you how long it's been. Had to borrow a first base glove from Buck Showalter, the manager. This situation works out really well. I was talking to Buck before the game. He said, get Luke Scott off the field. He's got a shoulder problem. Get Vlad a day off, Vladimir Guerrero. And he said, Markakis has been bothering him for 2 years. He wants to play first base, board in right field on occasion. So here's his opportunity. 1-1 from Pineda. Markakis out with Willie Randolph taking some early ground balls at about 11:30 today. Markakis is one of the really good right fielders in terms of outfield assist. Always at or near the top in that category. 2-1. Jamie Navarro, batting coach, shares an apartment with Pineda. Says go out there, be yourself, establish yourself, move their feet like you did last time against Baltimore. 2-1. Center field again. Goody into his glide. 2 outs. Matt Wieters, switch hitting catcher. This is what he did last night. A 2-1 pitch in the 7th, leading off. 4 rows up. Nice job on that home run. His 5th, 27th RBI. He's the one tearing it up. Runners in scoring position. Slicing drive. That'll get by. Wieters has cooled off in runners in scoring position batting average. He's gone from 500 to 487. Leads the American League, leads the major leagues. That'll be on Twitter in a matter of seconds. Bad. 0-1 to Wieters. Oh, he turned on that in a hurry, pulled it way foul.
I think it's about 57 degrees out today, and it might take Michael an inning or two to get loose. He's topping out at 94. Certainly has the ability to have a better fastball than that.
Matt Wieters 1 for 3 against Pineda. The previous encounter last month. Swing and this one, he's gone. So Pineda gives up a leadoff single to P8, a couple of fly balls and a strikeout. We're underway here in Seattle at Safeco Field. Nothing across from Baltimore. The Mariners come to bat. Out of first place, Ichiro will lead off, and let's take a look at the rest of the Mariner batting order today against Brian Mattis.
And Ichiro will be the DH today, leading things off. Brendan Ryan, 11-game hitting streak for him. Smoke with a big home run in yesterday's game. Mike Wilson, Jack Wilson, Rodriguez, and Saunders rounding out the 9, all getting an opportunity to play in this afternoon game. Mattis making his first start of the season. See what he did last year. ERA at a 4.30, 175 and 2/3 innings pitched for him. And the defense for the Orioles. Reimold in left, Adam Jones is in center field. PA will be out in right. On the infield is Reynolds and Hardy on the left side, Andino and Markakis. Dave mentioned making his first start at first base, and Wieters will do the catching.
Down low to Ichiro. Not used to seeing Ichiro here in June 1 hitting .272. The good news, the Orioles are in town, and he's got a great batting average against them over screen. As for Mattis, he led the American League rookie pitchers in strikeouts, innings pitched, and game starts last year. Second in opponents' batting average, second in wins, and third in ERA. 1-1. Looper coming in. Jones can't get it. Base hit for Ichiro. Start you're looking for. Now you bring up your hottest hitter, Brendan Ryan. Ichiro 0 for 3 last night with a run scored.
Yeah, he looks like he gets a breaking ball and hits it off the label. Adam Jones. There was a lot of ground in center field, but not able to make the difference in this one as it hits the outfield grass and a base hit for Ichiro.
They'll bring up Brendan Ryan. Key hit after the E1 on Jeremy Guthrie last night. 2 outs in the 8th. He got a base hit to right. He and Ichiro scored ahead of Smoke on a dramatic 3-run homer. Mattis came out of spring training ready to go, and then all of a sudden hurt his intercostal muscle on his left side right before they were about to break camp. So he got shut down till now. What they did was open up an opportunity for Zach Britton. And that young man has come up and pitched fabulously, 5-3 for the Orioles. Pitched at zeros with Vargas back in Baltimore. On 1 to Ryan. Not much of a lead for Ichiro. Back up this way, 1-2. Make room for Mattis in the lineup. They have DFA Jake Fox. Look at Jack Custer's getting a day off. Adam Kennedy, Chris Chambliss, Alan Wardler. Ball at 2 strikes. Mattis 10-12 last year, 4.30 ERA, 32 games, 143 strikeouts and 77 walks. Bopped up and playable. Shortstop J.J. Hardy makes the catch. 1 out, 1 on, and that'll bring up Justin Smoke. That was dramatic a home run as the Mariners have seen in a while. On an 0-1 pitch last night with 2 on, 2 out in the 8th, and sayonara. 8th home run. 31 runs batted in for Smoke, who leads in both of those categories. Got a curtain call to boot. It's on before the game. Is that your biggest moment in baseball? Without a doubt. Your mom back in Goose Creek, South Carolina, did she see it? Nope. Fell asleep about 10 to 12 last night. That happened about 12:15ish Eastern time. Matt Wieters, also from Goose Creek, South Carolina. These guys know each other going way back. And Smoke and Mattis, they were teammates on Team USA several years ago, so they are quite familiar with each other. Breaking ball down to Reynolds. And Dino for one. And scooped by Markakis in his first play in the big leagues at first base. He scoops and it's a double play as they go around the horn. Nothing across four. The Mariners, end of one, no score. About to start. And joining us in the booth, Dan Wilson, a former Mariner catcher. Dan, good to see you. How are you?
Dave, good to be here.
Good to have you. Your thoughts on, did you get a chance to see that replay from last night?
Yeah.
Wasn't it something?
Oh, man. I mean, that's a pretty good feeling as a player hitting that ball. And what a great ball game. You know, there's nothing better than stealing the lead there in the bottom of the 8th inning and riding your closer into the 9th. And just a great ball game.
Things adding up for the Mariners right now. And I know you had a chance. We're going to talk some catching here, and I know you had an opportunity to talk to Miguel Olivo earlier in the game. I say downstairs. You tell him about the face plant. You tell him about the. I mean, come on.
I said, Miguel, we got no business diving in any base, and he said something always happens to me when I dive into a base. Something bad happens.
Since we got you too, did you talk about Buster Posey and catchers, you know, which is part of the game where you get blown up at home plate?
Yeah, we did. You know, it's funny, all this talk about changing rules and whatnot, and you know, Miguel kind of echoed the same thing that I did, which was I don't see any need to change any kind of rules.
Scott flying to left, Saunders under it, 1 out.
This is, you know, it's just part of the game. It's what catchers expect. It's part of the game, and part of the game actually that I enjoyed. You know, there's a little bit of a trick to it and whatnot. You give them a little bit of base, and then you take it away when you get the ball.
What was your best survival tactic?
Yeah, you know, I just put my heel on the front corner of home plate, and that gives them, you know, all the back part of the plate to slide to. And the thing that did for you is you knew where the runner was going to try to go, and eliminated a lot of the guesswork. And
you dictated it.
Exactly, and then it was just, you know, catch the ball, hold on to it, and brace yourself.
Nice pitch to J.J. Hardy, 0-2.
Well, at that point, once you have the ball in your glove, then you can close that area that you're giving them to slide to. You can close it once you've secured the ball. Absolutely, and that's part of the trick is once you do gain possession, and then you take it away, and then he's got nowhere to go. But that's the fun part of catching.
1-2 to J.J. Hardy, popped up out of play. How about this? A's general manager Billy Beane has told Kurt Suzuki, I saw this headline last night, to try to avoid contact at home plate. Easier said than done.
Yeah, it is, and I think again, you know, it's like telling Miguel Olivo not to dive into a base. I mean, it's at some point your juices take over.
Here's a drive deep to left. Saunders going back, and he's going to watch it sail into the Oriole bullpen. A home run for J.J. Hardy, who had homered against Pineda when we were in Baltimore last month. 1-0. Baltimore. Got it on a 1-2 pitch. J.J. Hardy showing some pop. That's his third home run.
Looks like he gets an 82-mile-an-hour breaking ball, and that's a hanger. Left it right in the middle of the plate. That'll find the barrel more times than not, and Hardy ends up with a home run off of Pineda.
Swing and a miss by Nolan Reimel. J.J. Hardy, he got Pineda in the third inning of that Tuesday, May 10 game. That one hit hard into left field off the bat of Reimel. Makes a big turn, and he'll hold with a single. So a home run and a single here in the second inning.
The more I thought about all that with Buster Posey, and it's unfortunate just because of the caliber of player that he is, that he ended up getting hurt on that play. And now I know you spend a lot of time behind the dish. I do have my one inning in, Dan, but I can tell you that I think that more times than not is the runner, the base runner, that ends up with the worst of it in those situations.
Yeah, I agree, and I think in a situation like the Buster Posey play, I think the base runner is in that particular play, and in a lot of them, is much better off sliding there, getting around the home plate, reaching back or doing a hook slide, whatever he's got to do. But
I didn't look at it close enough. Did Buster give him room to slide in there?
He did. He had room.
He gave him the back end, and you could see him going towards the first base side, the runner. He was looking for search and destroy. He had back end, hook slide, a slide reach back with your hand. It was all available. He didn't take it.
And I think had he done that, he would have been safe, even more safe than he was. I mean, I think that he was safe because Posey dropped the ball, but I don't think there even gets a tag if he slides in and slides right by the home plate and touches it with his hand. But again, I think you're right. I think it comes down to the runner. What kind of decision does he want to make? He, in this situation, he clearly wanted to run the catcher over. And in more times than not, if Posey had held on to that ball, that runner is out, whereas he would have been safe had he slid.
It was one of the keys, too, guys. Posey went down. He had his right leg, and the ankle was down. And Mike, you talk about this all the time at second base. Get your foot out of the ground and make it available so you can. Because once the contact happened, he was done. Rolled that thing back the other way, and that was it.
I think it comes back to what Danny was talking about earlier, and there's certain techniques fundamentals that you do, knowing that there's possibility of some contact to protect yourself. I mean, people are going to get hurt in this game, whether you're playing second base or shortstop or you're catching. But there are certain things that you can certainly do on a daily basis as you go through the grind of this to help yourself.
Absolutely, and I think Posey was in a position to do that. I think the thing that happened to him was he didn't hold on to the ball, and that.
That's a nice grab by Jack Wilson. Great eye-hand coordination by Jack with the grab and the tag as the runner's coming in. Reimel's thrown out. 2 outs.
Miguel had a good pitch to throw on. Not a great jump. Miguel got rid of it really quickly. There's a little bit of a skip in front of the bag, but Dave, you're right. A nice pick by Jack, and applied the tag and nailed him.
2-2 now to Mark Reynolds. Got dusted twice last night by Brandon Lee. First one, what do you say, Mike? The first one, both tied without question. I think the second one slipped out of his hand.
Yeah, the second one was a split that got away from him. It was only 87 miles an hour. Still would hurt if it hit you. But not compared to the 98-mile-an-hour fastball that he saw the pitch before that.
Yeah. Strike 3 call. And that was a ball that came in at Reynolds. He flinched, and Pineda is out of the inning here in the second inning as he gives up a home run and a base hit to Reimel. Home run to Hardy. Second time Hardy's taken him deep. Orioles by 1. 1-0 on a J.J. Hardy home run. Miguel Olivo to lead off. Strike one. Olivo hitting .241, 4 homers, 19 runs batted in. Went 1 for 3 last night. Checks in with a base hit here. Big start to the Mariners' second. Well, one of the major highlights and hallmarks for the Mariners in the month of May was the pitching. Truly outstanding, and look at the stretch that they went through here. May 12th through the 22nd. The runs scarce. It's at 2, 4, 5, 6 runs.
And working deep into the game, saving the bullpen, so that when the bullpen had to pitch in the month of May, they were outstanding as well.
Gutierrez the hitter. It's a strike one.
A lot of 8s and 7s on those innings pitched, and that's you can't ask for more than that from your starters. That's outstanding.
There's a look at 3 of them. Vargas, Felix Hernandez, who goes tomorrow. Eric Bedard. Bedard threw a nice game yesterday. 5 hits, 2 runs, 6 1/3, and a no decision. Slicing drive center field. Going back is Adam Jones. He's on the track and he makes the catch. Tagging is Olivo. Coming into second, and he gets there. Gil Olivo, thinking man's baseball player, tagging up on a deep fly.
Well, you guys were talking about him diving into first the other day. The one thing you know is you're going to get a maximum effort from Olivo on a daily basis. This ball is hit deep. You can see Miguel. Nice play going back once he realized Adam Jones was going to make the catch. Deep into center field, he was able to tag up and get into second.
Standard issue slide, too. Attaboy. Mike Wilson. Rips one foul.
I'll tell you guys, one thing that surprises you about Miguel is you don't expect him to. He can run a little bit, and being a catcher, you don't expect that, but he can pick him up and put him down, as they say. And
2 for 5 in base stealing. I like it.
That's right.
Such a game. Mike Wilson trying to pick up the tying run here.
You know, you look at those innings pitched at the starters, Mike, and you can't help but think about the job that Miguel's doing behind the plate. Chris Jimenez, when he gets in there as well. These guys are really, they have such a great game plan. They're taking these guys out there. I was telling Chris earlier today, you know, when he gets back behind the plate, pitchers don't seem to miss a beat. These guys are in a good rhythm. They're in a good game plan. They've got a really good thing going here.
I think the other thing that they've done a nice job of, Dan, is they have a real sense of what the guys on the mound are doing. So when things aren't going well, they'll take a visit out there and have a conversation. Typically get them right back on track.
Skies this one. Short left field. Shortstop Hardy with the catch. 2 outs, runner at second.
I mean, we've seen it, Michael on the mound today. Miguel has gone out there a number of times this year because he'll have an inning where maybe he's losing it a little bit. You just kind of get him back in, focused on what he's supposed to be doing, and it really has helped him out a lot.
Absolutely, and that's so important to keep that perspective on the mound for these guys. They get tied up in striking guys out or throwing the right pitch, and Miguel and Chris have done a great job. You're right, going out there, reminding them of a bigger picture, giving them a different perspective, and getting that ground ball and out of the inning.
Here's Jack Wilson, 2 outs, runner at second. Texas Rangers, they win at Tampa Bay 3-0. The Mariners win, they won't gain any ground on the Rangers. Jack last played on Sunday. He went 1 for 4 in the Yankee series. That Yankee game on Sunday.
I have to believe too, Dan, because they play so many close games, that the starters and the bullpen has been great about this, but to try to make these guys stay aggressive with what they're doing. At times you can see them, oh boy, if I make a mistake, it could be cost you the game. And then you know, you can see Olivo or Jimenez go out there and talk to them, and immediately they start pounding the strike zone again.
Base hit center field. Adam Jones got a good arm. He charges. They send Olivo. Play at the plate. Here we go. And he makes contact with Wieters and scores as the ball gets through. It pats him on the back, but he scores the run, and the game is tied at 1-1.
Well, nice piece of hitting by Jack Wilson. He gets a pitch out over the plate, hits it hard back up the middle, and as Dave mentioned, wow. That's another one, Dan. That could have been bad right there.
Yeah, I winced up here in the box when I saw it because Wieters had his leg turned. You want to point your toe down that third baseline. Instead, he had it pointed out to the pitcher's mound, and it just looked like that could have been a disaster right there. He gets his foot caught in the wrong spot, and again, your knee doesn't bend that way. It's lucky that he was able to give with Miguel right there, because that could have been ugly as well.
That could have been a disaster.
But it goes right back to what Dan was talking about at the start. It's the fundamentals of what you're doing at home plate. And he ended up in a bad position right there. And unfortunately, you have a guy like Miguel. He's not going to back away. It's a big man coming in there.
Tell you what, the slide might, had he slid, that might have done more damage given what we just saw in that replay, the way the foot was laid out. He did him a favor hitting him up top.
Yeah, it took a little of the pressure off the lower half, and you're right. That would have been ugly if he hooked his foot.
Going to second on the throw was Jack Wilson. So Jack picks up an RBI, his 6th. And there's a little bit of simpatico between your catchers. You try not to blow each other up if you can help it, but there's always the but, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're not trying to take anybody out, especially someone in the same craft as you are. But you get close to that home plate as a runner, the only thing that's on your mind is touching that plate before the ball gets you.
Rodriguez 0-2. Louis at third base again, second day in a row for Sean Figgins. Yesterday, manager Eric Wedd said it's given Figgy yesterday and today off, and we look for Figgy back in the lineup tomorrow. Struggling mightily, a couple of days to watch things and rework a couple of things and just try to get regenerated. 1-2 to Rodriguez.
You know, the other thing, you guys, about the plate, we talk about so much. Baseball is such a game of repetition. That's just not something you can practice. I mean, you can't get catchers out there. You can practice all you want, throws from the outfield, but to have an actual runner coming down on you, about as close as you can get as a blocking dummy. We used to do that in spring training where they'd throw a slided blocking dummy in there and try to simulate a runner, but nothing is the same as that actual play, and it just doesn't get practiced.
Oh, Danny, you're right across the street. You got the Seahawks Quest Field. Bring a couple of those guys over there. Gear up.
Oh, you don't want to down low. I'll tell you one thing, though. Wieters has a good piece of instructional tape after watching it. He'll go back and say, hey, I don't want to leave my left ankle out there and left foot out there again like he did. A hard-nosed player, Miguel Olivo, ties the score at 1. Jack Wilson RBI. And another good at-bat here by Luis Rodriguez. Here's another look. Look at the left leg.
You got to keep
the
that
foot.
Toe. Oh, it just.
Oh, man, he was looking at knee, ankle, foot.
If he has his foot pointed towards the runner coming in, it just kicks his leg out right there.
Leg back. Yeah. And that's what you're taught, is your knee bends back and forth. It doesn't bend to the side. And I think Wieters lost sight of that. And it's tough because it's the throws coming in from the right-hand side. Your inclination is to turn your whole body, but you got to leave that foot pointed down that line.
2-2. Breaking ball is able to hold up. So Luis Rodriguez batting in the 8-hole, playing at third base. He's worked the full count with Michael Saunders on deck. Jack Wilson, single and an RBI, took second on the throw from Adam Jones. Trying to get Olivo at the plate. Payoff to Luis. Struck him out. Nonetheless, good inning for the Mariners. Olivo leads off with a base hit, tags on a deep fly ball, scores in an RBI single by Jack Wilson, and thankfully no injuries occurred here on this collision at home plate. 1-1 ball game. Tied at 1-1 here at Safeco Field. Good to have those folks here watching today's ball game. Our AT&T trivia question. Here we go. Felix Hernandez and Michael Pineda. They're on pace for 33 wins. Which tandem of Mariners starters have the most wins in a season? You got Hansen and Johnson, Moyer and Pinheiro, Johnson and Moyer, Moyer and Garcia. Dan, I'm looking at this list. I got to believe you caught that tandem.
I have, but I'm going to have trouble with this, like I do with all the trivia.
I'm just throwing a dart here. I'm gonna go with a Pineda 0-2 here to Robert Andino. Andino, second baseman. He led off last night. He's in a 9-hole today, and he's gone here. That's back-to-back strikeouts now for Pineda. 3 on the afternoon.
Well, Dave, I'm struggling with this one. This is a tough one.
You get dart, throw it at it. That's what
I mean. I'm going D. Moyer, Garcia.
All right. The fans are hanging with you here. They were waiting with bated breath.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. Top of the order, 1 out. Here's Felix P.A. led off the ballgame with a single to left. Strike 1. Breaking news in sports: Shaquille O'Neal has retired. 5th all-time in NBA scoring, 28,596. Great career, big fella. Top 50 player all-time. No doubt going to the Hall of Fame. What do you win? Won a championship with Miami and I believe 3 with the Lakers. 1-1 to Felix P.A. All 2 strikes. So Pineda and the Mariners playing some good baseball. They won 2 straight, 4 of 5, 11 of 13, and 12 of 15. 2 games past 500 for the first time since they were 2-0. 2010, the last time they were 2 games above 500, was back on April 21st when they went 9-7. Pulled down the smoke, taking himself. He and PA had an encounter in Baltimore. No harm, no foul here this afternoon. Friday, June 17th through the 19th, one of the National League's elite teams will be here at Safeco Field. The Phillies they come out to Seattle for the first time in 6 years. So make sure you're here to see Raul Ibanez's return, and you'll see NL Cy Young Award winner Roy Halladay. Good seats still available. Make sure you lock in your seats. Mariners Phillies. Visit mariners.com/tickets. All right, it is that time. And yeah, that's about right. 1:17, little bottle time, little nap.
A meal and a snooze.
1-1 to Adam Jones. Jones will fly out to center in his first at bat. Run on 3 hits, no errors for both teams. Pineda being careful with Jones. 8 for 17 this season. Markakis on deck. 8 for 17 against Mariner pitching. .30. Back with a strike. Orioles run on a J.J. Hardy 1-out homer in the second pitch. Broken bat looper in the center field, a base hit. Blew up that bat.
Got it off the end and just got out front a little bit.
Cheating on a fastball, trying to catch it out in front. Michael looks like he throws a heavy ball too. Typically guys that throw as hard as he does, they don't throw that heavy ball in the super sinker that we see a lot, but it seems like that's the case. He breaks a lot of bats.
There's Nick Markakis, the first baseman. First big league game at first base today. The start of a career for Michael Pineda's first in strikeouts per 9 innings in the American League, 8th in the ERA. Tied with Trevor Cahill, second in wins and fourth in opponent's batting average. Strike one to Markakis. Adam Jones, a base stealing threat. He's 5 for 5.
Dave, part of the reason for that success is just for a young guy, he's just so advanced in terms of his poise and his mound presence. You saw after he went 3-0 on Jonesy. You know, young pitchers don't see it very often, but he took that little stroll around the mound, calmed himself back down, came back with a strike, and then Jones got the hit off the end of the bat. But he's a guy who can really calm himself down. He's got great poise.
Swinging a miss by Markakis, 0-2.
I think to that point, Danny, the other thing during that at bat with Jones is he falls behind 2-0. He's not concerned about his ability to throw strikes. He's 2-0. He throws him a slider, misses with it, but is able to come back, throw a strike, as you mentioned, and then he ends up giving a base hit. But still, the confidence that he has to throw that pitch when he knows he can throw 96 miles an hour, I think says a lot about the young man.
Yeah, he's really worked on that slider and he's turned it into a pretty good pitch for him. And he's just got it all rolling right now.
Cat and mouse with Jones. The other thing about Pineda, he wants to learn, man. He is always asking questions. Got a great personality, and you know, at the beginning of spring training, his English was okay. At the end of April, it was better. It's really good now. He's been working at it. He's a hard worker. Talked to all the guys down there in the clubhouse, man. He's a good kid. Wants to be great. 1-2. Jones was leaning a little bit.
Well, you mentioned the clubhouse, Dave. You can just feel it when you go down there. Guys, just so much more positive, and they really coming together as a team. And that clubhouse is a completely different place than it has been. And Jim Inez was telling me this morning, you know, that these guys come to the ballpark expecting to win. And as a player, Mike, you know, there's nothing better than that feeling.
Well, you start to win a few games, and things happen to go your way, and you start gaining confidence from that.
Off the fifth. Left field for Saunders. And that'll do it for the Orioles. Here in the third, Pineda gives up a base hit to Jones. No problem. Put a 0 on the board. It's still 1-1. The Mariners look to close out the Baltimore Orioles. Great month of May for the Mariners. How about this one on Sunday, May 19th? On May 19th, and Torrey Hunter headed all the way. No, he doesn't. And the Mariners won the ball game on that high fly ball. So it sort of evens things up. They'd lost the game in Boston when Ichiro lost one in the sun. This was in the bottom of the ninth here at Safeco Field. Mariners finishing May with a record of 15-11. Saunders pops it up. Wieters is there, 1 out. AT&T trivia question. Answer coming up. Felix Hernandez, Michael Pineda. They're on pace for 33 wins. Which tandem of Mariners starters has the most wins in a season? I went with A. Dan, you went with D. Answer is Jamie Moyer and Freddie Garcia. Way to go, Dan.
How about that? That might be my first one ever.
Good for you. Good for you. Top of the order, here's Ichiro. Base hit the center. Base to the double play. Fans went with C. Answer was D.
Talk about two guys with contrasting styles, Jamie Moyer, Freddie Garcia. Garcia, that hard sinker. Jamie, that changeup that couldn't break a pane of glass, probably.
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny.
How amazed are you that Freddie still pitches with the Yankees now as Ichiro swings and misses 2-2?
I mean, he's a guy. He was a competitor. I mean, I think we all saw that when he first came up, and I think he had 18 wins or some 17 wins his rookie season, and a guy that you knew wanted the baseball. Those guys, they tend to stick around for a long time.
I wasn't surprised to see that with Freddie too, because Freddie, even when he came up, as we were talking about with Michael, even though Freddie had really good stuff, he could pitch. He came up into this league, and when he came here, he could throw his breaking ball for strikes, and he had an idea of what he was doing. He wasn't just firing fastballs in there.
How about Ichiro dumping one in between the left fielder and the shortstop? His second hit today. DHing this afternoon. Get a chance, Rick Wed said, to get him off his feet.
Similar to his first hit. Take a look at it. Breaking ball, flips it out into left field. Although the month of May was not good for him, off to a nice start here in June. But wouldn't you agree with Freddie?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things, in fact, that we talked to Freddie a lot about was trusting his sinker. He had such a powerful sinker. You talk about the guys with the heavy balls, Mike. That was a guy who just threw a heavy ball, tough to get underneath, tough to drive, just ground ball after ground ball. But he did. He did know how to pitch, and he liked his changeup. He liked his curveball, and used it sometimes too much so. And that was one of the things we talked about. Hey, trust your sinker. Let that ground ball happen.
Brendan Ryan popped up the shortstop. This kid's on a very hot roll. 8 for 18 on the homestand coming into today's game. Nixon strike 1-1. Ichiro's at first, 13 stolen bases on his belt.
One of the things that Brendan Ryan has done, and it's really noticeable, is him making a real effort hitting the ball up the middle the other way. And I think with that, he's been picking up a lot of hits. 11-game hitting streak, but over those 11 games, hit .513. We saw him last night late in the 8th inning before Smoke hit his home run, hit a line drive, base hit into right. I think sometimes when you're struggling, you get out in front. If you let the ball travel a little bit further, you have something. If you take a look at this last swing, again, basically hitting it off his belt buckle, but he's giving himself a chance by letting the ball travel.
A lot of his hits as they go back through the last few games have been center field. That's what Sean Figgins wants to do when he gets back in the lineup. Talked about that. He's not been letting it travel. That page back, so many of the Ryan hits are to center field and right, no question. There's a couple infield hits in the game. Even his outs are to center field. Ball 2 strikes with Ichiro at first. Runner goes. Swung on and missed. Wieters throws down, not in time. Wieters leads Major League Baseball, throwing out 15 would be base stealers. He doesn't get one here. Stolen base for Ichiro is 14th. And process. Ryan strikes out trying to protect Ichiro.
It's a swing by Ryan, and as he comes across the plate, looks like Wieters is a little bit tricked by that. You saw him kind of pull up almost. He didn't get a good hard throw off because Ryan had from the momentum on his swing had kind of come across home plate, and had they made contact there, then Wieters would have had an interference call, and Ichi would have been out. But instead he avoided the contact and then didn't get the good throw off.
How willing are you to make that full throw and hit the barrel of the bat?
Oh yeah, I mean that's
tough, isn't it?
One of those things. Yeah, typically it's your hand that's going to take the beating, and you're going to break a finger quickly.
Big off-speed pitch, full smoke.
There's an element too, Mike, when you're so far into your throw, you just can't stop it, but instead you try to modify it a little bit, which is what we saw Wieters do, and it just doesn't come off right.
0-1. It's through. Ichiro a hole. Wieters does a good job recovering. 1-1. Looks at everybody back in Goose Creek. His mom saw the replay. Both grandmothers still very much alive. They saw it. His brother saw his home run living outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. So far, the greatest moment in his major league career, the big home run last night. Pops this one up. And Markakis has room for it. And that'll do it for the Mariners here in the third. 1-1 ball game as we move to the fourth inning here in Seattle.
The entertainment capital of the Northwest.
4, 5, and 6 coming up for the Orioles, and we're right above. There's Dan Wilson, Mike Flowers. I'm Dave Sims. You got Ken Levine, Rick Riz over the sea and the radio side. Here in the Dave Niehaus Broadcast Center, Safeco Field. Matt Wieters will lead it off. Matt Wieters, Luke Scott, and J.J. Horty here in the fourth inning against Michael Pineda. Wieters so far, he's struck out. That went 1 for 4 last night, and in the series opener, he went 1 for 4. Strike one to Matt. Pineda with victories against Toronto, at Kansas City, Oakland, at Detroit, Minnesota, and at San Diego. Only team to beat him is Texas. Got him twice. Once there and once here. And he's got no decisions. 2 of them. His last start against the Yankees and against Baltimore back on May 10th. He left that game after 7 with a 4-3 lead. And Mariners wound up losing that game in extras. He's got Wieters 0-2.
third of the way through it, Dan. I think if you look at this division, I don't see anybody running away with it. You? I really don't. I think it's going to be tight all the way through.
Yeah, I do too. And I think it's going to be an exciting summer because you're right. No one has stepped up, shown that they're going to do it consistently.
Smoke to Pineda. Pitcher's fielding practice paying off. Up to the minute standings in the American League West. Texas a winner today, 3-0 at Tampa Bay. The Rays come in for 4 starting tomorrow here at Seattle. Mariners are a game back, just ahead of the Angels and Oakland. Oakland with the best ERA in the American League, just ahead of the Mariners. Here's Luke Scott DHing today. He was at first base last night. Scott 1 for 3 last night. They made what appeared to be a good feed to Jeremy Guthrie that would have retired Ichiro last night in the 8th, but Guthrie couldn't hold on, and it opened the door for the Mariners. Another dribbler to Smoke. And they said it's foul. Home plate umpire Bill Miller with the call. Here comes Eric Wedge quickly bouncing out of the dugout.
Looked like Justin tried to get it before it was able to go foul. We'll take another look at it right down the line. It'll hit the edge of the grass and start to go foul, and Justin tries to keep his foot on the base, kind of swipe at it before it goes foul. Hard to tell, but it looked like maybe that was a fair ball.
Boy,
that's a tough one.
That's right on the line as he picks it up.
Well, both umpires right on it. Dave, it's the home plate umpire's call before the ball reaches the bag, and then after the bag, it's the base umpire, and they were both right there on it.
Bill Miller behind home plate. 0-2 to Luke Scott in this 1-1 ball game. 1 out, top of the 4th. Upstairs on him, 1-2. Pineda deals, and this one no question fair. Smoke stays with it. Pineda covers. Good operation again. 2 outs here in the 4th inning. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Dave Sims, Mike Blowers, Dan Wilson sitting in with us today. 2 outs in the 4th. That brings up J.J. Hardy. His homer in the 2nd inning. The Baltimore run. His 2nd home run against Pineda. Didn't hold up. 1-1. First time he homered against Pineda was on a 3-2 pitch leading off the 3rd inning. Back in Baltimore on May 10.
55 pitches for Michael. It's a little more like the ratio we're used to seeing for him. 40 strikes, 15 balls. In his last outing against New York, he had struggled with that, something we hadn't seen. He's bounced back nicely from that outing. It's funny, early on, Danny, you get so many expectations, especially for this young man, and so he goes out and he pitches 5 innings, only gives up 3 hits, and you figure, man, he really struggled today.
I know it's odd, but I think the thing that was the telltale sign on that outing was the 5 walks, Mike.
Yeah,
that's just something you just don't see from Michael Pineda.
Boys, he was amped. Even admitted a little too excited, and as they say, it's to be expected as he punches out Hardy for his 4th strikeout. Throws a 1-2, 3, 4th. Pineda and the Mariners locked up with the Orioles at 1-1. Wow.
the finale. Meantime, Ron Washington and the Texas Rangers were taking on the Tampa Bay Rays, and things are getting tight in the division. Mariners trail by just a half game. We head to the 8th of this one for our Sterling Savings Bank score. Elvis Andrus ropes one to right. That scores Ian Kinsler and Craig Gentry, and the Rangers take care of business and beat the Rays 3-0. Dave, back downstairs to you.
All right, very good, Angie. Rays coming to town. They'll be here tonight. Start a 4-game series with the Mariners tomorrow. Here's Miguel Olivo. He's batting cleanup today, followed by Gutierrez and Mike Wilson. Off speed pitch there by Ryan Mattis. Miguel with a base hit to left. Tagged and moved to second on a deep fly ball by Goody, and then scored on a base hit by Jack Wilson. Comes the 1-2. Flicks that out of the way. Mattis, 6'4", $190 out of Grand Junction, Colorado. Now lives in Paradise Valley, Arizona. Signed through next year. Club option in 2013. Pretty good ride. Center field, long run, Jones. Back, tried to Willie Mays it, did he? He did. Oh, baby, what a catch. Adam Jones, the former Mariner, tracking beautifully, makes an over-the-shoulder catch, bounces off the wall for the first out. That's a big star next to that one. Our Home Depot doing more on defense. He gets a great jump.
Well, this is as good as it gets. Miguel puts a charge into a dead center field. And it's one thing to catch the ball over your shoulder. It's another thing to know that you're running up against the wall, and the concentration to make this play. That's pretty special. Nice play by Adam Jones.
Wow. Mr. Mays would be proud. Franklin Gutierrez fly to center. Good stuff. Well, he's played here, so quite familiar with it. That's outstanding, knowing he had a foot left. Thank goodness for padding.
That's a pretty good athlete right there to be able to make that play.
That's a great catch. You're right, Mike. Making that catch is one thing, but staring at the wall while you're doing it.
And then to catch it and be able to brace yourself with your foot up against it as opposed to burying your face in the middle of it. Nice play.
Sure don't want to try to do that at Wrigley Field. Rick and Ivy not near as kind. Up high to get the edits, 3-1. That play deserves a big highlight in scorebook. Mike Wilson's on deck. Three-one drive right at Jones. 2 outs.
The play that Adam made, I think pitcher needs to do a couple of things. One, take Adam out to dinner, and two, apologize to his catcher because he shook him off 3 times to hang that changeup, Danny.
Hey, catchers know. They know what they're talking about, Mike.
You ever sit back there, keep putting different fingers down, and then finally they throw the one pitch you don't want and watch it get raked? There you go. Go ahead. Throw me the changeup again.
Fly ball right field. PA is under it. 3 fly balls. Easy inning for Menace. Spectacular catch by Adam Jones. Highlight worthy. You should probably see it all day and all night. The rest of today. That was a good effort. 1-1 ball game. Here in Seattle at Safeco Field. So you look at Nolan Reimold take a strike for Michael Pineda. Base hit to left for Reimold in his first at bat. There's Pineda again, getting ahead quickly. He's been one of his trademarks. His first 10 starts, a lot of first pitch strikes. Got him fishing. Olivo applies the tag. Strikeout number 5 for Pineda. Back to backers here. One out in the 5th.
Well, the classic heater slider in the dirt. Nice job by Miguel, but just continually to see Michael Pineda just make great pitches and understand the count. And
he's building his own fan base, doing a heck of a job. Boy, dropped down 3/4 on that pitch. Ball 1 to Mark Reynolds. Reynolds struck out looking his first at bat. Straight heated 95, 1-1. Missed by Reynolds. First game of the series, he went upper deck in the 3rd inning. Upper deck left field, a monster shot. 1-2. Got him swinging. 3 consecutive strikeouts now for Pineda, 6 on the game.
well, again, you can see that just gets ahead in the count, and then it'll show up as a strike in the scorebook. But that's a pitch. It's just a quality pitch because way ahead in the count, throw that ball down in the dirt like you did with the previous hitter, and you get that swinging miss.
He's doing a number on the bottom of the order. 6 strikeouts, 5 from spot 6 through 9. Here's Robert Andino, one of those strikeout victims. Got him 0-2. He put him away on 3 pitches his previous time up. Pineda getting after it. The 0-2. Bounce to Ryan. Painless inning for Pineda as he has retired. The last 7 men that he's faced, striking out 3 in this 1-1 game. Pineda against Brian Mattis, 1-1 ball game. Bottom 3rd of the Mariner order coming up here in the home 5th. Wilson, Rodriguez, and Saunders. Jack Wilson, that is. Jack picking up an RBI in his first at bat. First time he's played since Sunday. Picked up RBI number 6. Scored Olivo. There was some contact at home plate with Matt Wieters, but no injuries, thank goodness. Mariners in the middle of a 10-game homestand, their longest of the season. This is the start of the second half of that. 4 games coming up with the Rays. This young man starting his first game of the season. He had injuries coming out of spring training. You got the instructional league and then some grapefruit league action. Still looking for his velocity to get up maybe 1 or 2 more mph. So far so good for Mattis. The Mariners have gotten him on 1 run, 4 hits. Curveball hit foul past Jeff Datz. Let's take a look at our CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Mattis topping at 88. Pineda at 97. Mattis trying to get back to that 91, 92 range. 2-2 to Jack. It's through. Wieters full count now.
Well, Dave, when you talk about those intercostal strains that I think Mattis is coming off of, there's just a part of your mind that just won't let you let go until you're really sure that things have healed. And I know he's had a lot of rehab starts, but there's probably a part of him that's just not ready to do that yet.
Wilson fights it off. The muscles connecting to the obliques in terms of throwing and that side when you go all the way through, and if that hurts, that doesn't lend itself, particularly given his occupation.
Absolutely.
Jack Wilson gets into one, backs up Reimel, but he's there on the track, makes the catch. Mattis, he's retired his last 6.
Jack gets a hanging breaking ball. It's a good swing on it. Barrels it up out to left field. Nice at bat, 8-pitch at bat. You can see where that last pitch was, right in the middle of the plate.
There's Luis Rodriguez. Struck out on a 3-2 pitch, ending the second inning.
Love those slow-mo shots. You can really see Jack on that one. His back foot come off the ground. He get all his weight off that side and into his front leg, but just not enough to get it out.
Popped up. Right field for PA. Both these pitchers dealing. Quick 2 outs here in the 5th. Make sure you get on the board. The Mariners Go Green fan train. It's coming up Friday. Mariners meet the Rays. First 20,000 fans you're going to get this year's edition of the popular collectible train car series. Get your tickets to Mariners Go Green fan train night by visiting mariners.com/tickets. Saunders tried to bunt his way on as we get a great look from behind home plate. Tried to bunt his way on last time up. Popped out to the catcher, Matt Wieters. Mariners trying to get this guy, get his batting average going, as well as Figgins. Saunders not quite playing as much now that they are rolling out Gutierrez more on a daily basis. The plus count here, Mike, for Saunders.
Look for a fastball, probably middle away, I would guess.
2-2. Saunders trying to stay alive here. 2-2. Short left field, coming on in a hurry is Reimel, and he's making a catch. So the Mariners 10 of their 15 outs have been fly balls through 5 in this 1-1 game. Michael Pineda, some of his success revolves around this, guys.
Yeah, it's a slider. That's the grip for a slider, and I was talking to Dan about it. And we've seen that grip before, but typically it's for guys throwing their curveball. And I was asking Danny if he's seen that before, and Danny, I don't know if you have on a slider.
No, it's a little strange on a slider, and it would seem to me it would take away a little bit of the speed and make it more of an off-speed pitch for him. But his hands are so big, Mike, like we talked about. That must be the only way that he can do that.
Strike one of Felix PA as Pineda faces the top of the order. PA, Jones, and Markakis.
Yeah, because I think you see he had a knuckle curve. You seen it was a knuckle curve, but typically guys with a finger off like that, you see that it was more of an overhand type of curve. And with Pineda and the way that he's holding that pitch, I think it's because of the size of his hands that he has to be able to do that. To throw a slider, I don't think most guys are going to be able to do that.
No way. And you know, you can see his hands are enormous, and it seems like pitchers that have those big hands can really grip that ball and do control the ball like he can. And you're right. It's typically with a curveball pitch that we can see something like that kind of a grip, but not on a slider.
2-1 to PA. It's 1 for 2 today. Right off the game with a base hit to left. Oriole run coming in the second inning. A J.J. Hardy home run. Levo's there. Boy, good reaction. So 1 out. Pop foul. Here's another one. Good look. Got the index finger off.
Yeah, so here you go. And most of the time they'll just flip that ball straight over the top for the big curve. But this is a slider, and he could throw from 82 to 87 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's very unusual for a slider grip, but highly effective.
Do you think that's something he came up with himself, Dan?
It's probably the way he's always done it. It's probably something that just feels comfortable to him, and it's the way he gets the best spin on it. I mean, I'm sure he's been told at other points during his career, hey, try it this way, but for him, that's where he probably gets the best result.
In tight to Adam Jones, 2-0. Jones 1 for 2. He's made a Willie Mays over the shoulder catch, banging into the center field wall.
Hard to argue with the results.
No, absolutely. It's different. It works. Hey, doesn't matter, how you do, as long as you get there, get some success. Ryan can't barehand it. Infield base hit for Adam Jones.
And this is interesting too, Michael. It looks like he's going to try to barehand this, and at the last minute decides not to. Takes his hand away from it and lets Brendan Ryan try to make the play. This would have been a great play if Brendan would have been able to come up with it. Adam Jones flying down the line. I'm not sure he would have been able to get him anyways.
One out and one on for Nick Markakis. Jones, as you know, a legit base stealing threat at 5 for 5. Markakis 0 for 2 today. Fly to center, fly to left. Ball one to Nick. First baseman today, first time in his big league career. He's pretty psyched up about it. Pineda today with 6 strikeouts. He hasn't walked anybody. Mariner run coming on a Jack Wilson second inning RBI that answered the Hardy home run. Pitch. Jones holds. Markakis swings and tips it into Olivo's glove for strike one. That base hit, the first for Baltimore since the 3rd inning, just the 5th of the game. Off-speed pitch. Not the kind of hack Markakis likes. That was a good pitch by Pineda.
And here you go, another hard slider for Michael.
I roll that wrist over the top.
Well, the more I watch him throw it, it looks like maybe it'd take a little more pressure off his elbow throwing it that way. Just because he throws it more with the pressure from his finger and the index finger being off of it as opposed to trying to turn his wrist more. It looks like from that it would take some of the pressure off of his elbow by holding it that way.
Well, and that could certainly be the case. I mean, typically you look at a baseball here and you got the horseshoe. Everybody takes a different grip to the slider. Everybody's different. Typically you see 2 fingers together here on the inside of the horseshoe. Pineda's got the ball on this side with the 1 finger. And as he delivers the ball, obviously they talk about pointing the V to the catcher, and you can see that when he finishes off that he points the V of his finger toward the catcher. And right in there is the V. And it doesn't matter how you get to the V, I guess, because we're seeing Michael just throw some nasty sliders up there, and everybody's got a different way to get there. But
you have a good sized hand, but it's nowhere near as impressive as watching Michael's hand.
I mean, his hand is just swallowing up that baseball.
Yeah.
No walks. There's 2 and 2 here to Markakis. Infield double play depth. Fly ball. Pop up, actually. Pop up to Wilson as he goes by. 2 outs. Good pitch to get Markakis. Now he's got to get Wieters and can get out of the 6th. 6 strikeouts for Pineda.
Of course, as you know, Mike, the other thing that helps your slider out is the 95, 96 mile an hour fastball that you can throw up there at the same time.
It's an effective weapon.
Has a tendency to speed the bats up a little bit, doesn't it?
Makes you a little antsy.
Pitch to Wieters. Goes the other way. Saunders retreats. Got a good beat on it. Makes the catch. Well done. Infield hit for Jones. The only thing that the Orioles can put on the board against Pineda. He's through 6 and won 1 game. On Root Sports is brought to you by AT&T and by Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, get the new bourbon barbecue steak grilled sandwich at participating restaurants. Mariners and the Orioles, the finale of this 3-game series. Last time we'll see the Orioles in 2011. 1-1 ball game. Orioles swept the Mariners last month in Baltimore. Mariners trying to return the favor. Here's Ichiro to lead it off. Ichiro with a couple of hits and a stolen base this afternoon. Nothing like documenting your favorite player, Ichiro. Get him in full stretch. Pulls this one down to Markakis. First ground ball to Markakis is a big league first baseman. So one out here in the Mariners' 6th. Starbucks, we love you Fridays. It's coming back. And they're taking Seattle out to the ball game. Come into any of Seattle's Starbucks locations this Friday after 3 p.m. You get a free Mariners ticket while supplies last. For more info and a store list, go to starbucks.com/Seattle. One out in the Mariners' 6 brings up the 2-hole hitter, Brendan Ryan. He was encouraging everybody on Twitter by way of Kevin Martinez, our VP of promotion, and Greg Green, to wear some eye black. I wonder how many people wore it today. There was one suggestion: get a Band-Aid and get a black magic marker on it. He's got some of the guys growing mustaches and beards down there. Chris Jimenez has a beard working. So does League. Right in an 0-2 hole. He agreed to disagree with Miller on that last one. There's Brandon. Trimmed his down a little bit. Got the soul patch and everything going. Fly ball, that'll get fouled.
Whatever it is, it's all working, Dave. It's all working.
That's what they're doing. Joe Madden brings his Tampa Bay Rays in. They've been known with their thematic trips with everybody having to wear the same kind of attire, white, black. They've done those trips, the country western trips. I'm curious to see what they'll come in with tomorrow. Anything for solidarity, right?
That's what it's all about, bringing everybody together.
Outside, 2-2. Two to Ryan. Stop there, boy. Mattis knew it immediately. On that hitter is Justin Smoke. Payoff to Ryan. Struck him out. 2 down. 2 down here in the 6th. Strikeout. Number 3 for Mattis. Here comes the Goose Creek Crusher, leading the club in homers, ribbies, doubles, and slugging. Just north of Charleston, South Carolina, on the state title. Very good credentials for both young men. They're going to be staples for their respective teams for a long time. Ever play against an ex-high school or college teammate when you were catching behind the dish?
And a couple times in the minor leagues, played against a couple of high school teammates, and it is a strange phenomenon. But to see it at the big league level is pretty cool.
Veteran Jim Johnson up and throwing. Did you say anything? Did you meet before the game, or did you say something when he came up to the plate?
When he got up to the plate, but then it got real quiet.
Well, you knew him too, right? I
mean,
you knew what he could and couldn't do. Two and one to Justin. Said last night Wieters did not say anything to him. He says, come on, he's a professional. He saw what had just happened. Don't forget Smoke played against Mattis on Team USA. And off the glove of Markakis. Again in his first big league game at first base. E5 to charge Reynolds with a bad throw.
You see the barrel of the bat chase the ball out towards the third baseman, Reynolds. Reynolds actually does a nice job of concentrating and makes the play. And then when he spins it, throws a little bit high. It looked like Markakis had a chance to come off the bag, tried to keep his foot on the bag, and it goes off the top of his glove.
10th error for Reynolds, who leads the ball club. And Buck Showalter coming out.
If I were Markakis, I'd blame it on Buck Showalter's glove.
They'll take the ball from him. So he goes 5 2/3 in his season debut. We'll get the veteran right-hander Jim Johnson when we return. 1-1 the score here at Safeco Field. It's 2007, and here's one of the highlights. Brendan Ryan, May 6th against the White Sox. The single there produced the game winner right here at Safeco Field. He takes a pounding there. Talking to Adam Kennedy, says, hey, man, you don't want to get that beating when you score on a walk-off homer and you're coming home. You want to get that helmet off because they start pounding your head. That helmet goes down. That hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Watching that replay of that, I had my eye on Smoke, and he looked like he was serious with the jabs he was throwing at the rib area.
Here's Olivo. Chops it down to Reynolds. Charges and gets him. So one pitch. Johnson and the Orioles are out of the 6th. No runs, no hits, an error, and a man left. 6 in the books, 1-1 the score.
Royals are tied here right now at 1 apiece in the finale. This is Zion Lutheran from Everett, and you can tell they're big Mariner fans. Meantime, we look elsewhere in the AL West. The A's and the Yankees are underway in the Bay Area. Top of the fourth, Yankees down 2-1 until Nick Swisher goes deep to left field for his 4th home run of the season. The 3-run blast has the Yankees on top. Dave Sims, back to you.
All right, Angie, thank you very much. As we move to the 7th inning, Michael Pineda will face Luke Scott, J.J. Hardy, and Nolan Reimel. 5, 6, and 7. 6 strikeout day for Mr. Pineda with no walks. Giving up a run on 5 hits. Scott today's fly to left and bounced out to Justin Sloan. Texas winning. The Mariners are a game out of first place. First time since August 27-03. Mariners are a game back this late in the season. One. The book is closed on Menace. 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, a run. It was earned, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. Good look at Pineda here. 1-1. Big strong kid. Looks like he can pitch all day today.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, he just gets that ball back and just wants to throw it again. And he just does have good stuff today.
2-2 to Scott.
Right now, 84 pitches for Michael. Season high is 103. .84 pitches, 60 strikes, 24 balls.
2-2 to Scott. Fights it off.
Really has not had a stressful inning yet if you look at his pitch count.
Two. Smoke showing some range. Flips to Pineda. And that tandem has worked nicely. That's the 3rd time that's happened. 2nd time they retired Scott that way. They got Wieters as well. So 1 out here in the 7th. We take a look at the Mariners calendar brought to you by Sleep Country USA. Tampa Bay, the Rays come in. They've recovered nicely after a slow start. They started today, game and a half back in the American League East. And then the Mariners head west. Check that, head east. Used to be on the other side of the country. Chicago and Detroit, and then come home for the Angels and the Phillies. J.J. Hardy, home run on a 1-2 pitch leading off. Check that, 1 out in the 2nd inning. The 2nd home run in as many times that he's faced Michael Pineda. Pineda's got him 0-2 here. Hardy used to be with Milwaukee. The 0-2. Check down first base, didn't go, says James Hoy. Broken bat, base hit to left. Hardy's got his number. J.J. Hardy aboard again. Hardy in his first appearance against Pineda went 1 for 2 back on May 10th with the homer. 1 out, 1 on. The hitter's Nolan Reimel. Base hit to left and a strikeout. Strike 1 to Nolan. brought back up recently from AAA. Really stands tall in that batter's box. Fly ball center field for Gutierrez. Out number 2. 2 outs here in the 7th. Tomorrow, Felix Hernandez, he takes them out against the Rays, and you could be a part of the new Kings Court. It's a great seating section out in left field. For just $30, you'll get to receive a field seat. A great-looking King Felix T-shirt. Get your information, purchase tickets to the Kings Court by visiting Mariners.com/Felix. Felix loving that. The shirt design had it on today underneath his D. Wade Miami Heat shirt. Calling for a sweep for Miami over Dallas in the NBA Final. Mark Reynolds struck out looking, struck out swinging today. Cade looking twice last night. Reynolds, 1 hit in the series. It was a monster home run Monday afternoon. Upper tank left field. One and one now.
Michael doing a good job moving that fastball around. First one on the outside part of the plate, that one on the inside. See where he goes next now.
Reynolds struggled this year, hitting 191. Got off of Levo's helmet. Ball and 2 strikes. With all the kids in the building here, it was weather day. And I got a few brooms here. How about that? 1 and 2 to Reynolds with a man aboard. 2-2. Orioles playing without Brian Roberts. He's on the DL. Derek Lee with an oblique injury. He's expected to come back in the next day or 2.
Slider down and away, Danny.
That's what he went with the last time, struck him out.
2-2 from Pineda. And the count full.
That one, a slider there, looked like he was trying to start it maybe on the inside corner and have it break over the plate, but I think it backed up on him.
It looked like Miguel's reaction after he caught it. He wanted that pitch down in the dirt. Just a reminder out to Pineda, bury the pitch.
Something's got to give here with a man aboard. 2 outs, 3-2 to Reynolds. Pitch from Pineda. Fouled off, just got a piece of it. Mike giving himself a talking to here. He does that on occasion.
He's keeping his velocity up. 98 pitches for Michael. This will probably be his last inning. Eric Wedge has been careful with him this year. I mentioned the season high is 103 pitches.
He's 3-2 to Reynolds. Runner takes off way outside. Walk team, first walk issued by Pineda. Orioles have runners at first and second with 2 outs. Nobody up in the pen right now. Now they start to stir.
Did you wait for the manager? Did you ever wait for the manager? Did you always wait for the manager to ask you, or did you have a little signal you give him like, this guy's had enough, come get him?
And no, occasionally we'd have a signal depending on the pitcher, but typically the manager would want to come out and talk to the pitcher himself, to see if he, pitcher could change his mind at all, but a lot of times they couldn't. And but there was a couple of times where a couple of guys, whether they were nursing an injury or whatnot, the manager would say, "Hey, if it looks like he's struggling, give me a little sign, and we'll take care of it." But different situation here.
How many times did it happen on that conference where the pitcher goes, "No, I'm good, Skip, no problem," and he look at you and you go, "Ah, he's done. Get him out of here."
It happened on occasion. That's not a good spot to be in.
It's not.
At all.
I can imagine.
But you got to tell the truth. 2 outs, 2 on. 9-hole hitting second baseman Robert Andino's the hitter. He struck out on 3 pitches, grounded out on an 0-2 pitch to shortstop. Down low, ball 1. Jamie right up and throwing for the Mariners. 100 pitches thrown by Big Michael. Levo will take a look. No play. $18,036 on hand. 18,036. Orioles have a couple of men on. J.J. Hardy got a base hit and a walk. So Mark Reynolds moved him up to second base. Trying to get out of it by retiring Andino. Misses 2-1.
That's a good looking pitch at the bottom of the strike zone.
Pineda's ready. 2-1 pitch. Foul, 2-2. What finger are you putting down here, Dan?
Well, again, his slider down in the strike zone has been such a good pitch for him today. But we're going to 2-2 count here. I think he's going to stay with the fastball, probably run one away from him. And if he misses, he's going to miss off the plate with it.
They're shading towards right. Gutierrez a couple steps toward right. Mike Wilson in right field. 2-strike pitch. 2 out, 2 on.
He's still throwing hard. 96 miles an hour on that last fastball.
I think the thing right here, guys, with Michael is you'd hate to get beat on something other than your fastball in this situation with a 9-hole hitter.
Then gives 2-2. Off speed pitch. No. Full count. So Olivo going after Cobb. The big fella down a little bit. 105 pitches.
25 in this inning so far.
Previous high was the 103 against Toronto on April 12th. Went for 100 at Baltimore on May 10th.
Miguel's visit there just to make sure they're on the same page here and confer that they're going to be calling the same pitch together here.
Well, everybody's going to be in motion. 3-2, 2 out, 2 on. Runners go. Pitch. Swung on and missed. Struck him out. As big a strikeout as Pineda's had all season long. It's strikeout number 7 in the lucky 7th for the Mariners. Maybe it'll be proven to be that way offensively with the Mariners when we come back.
to start this inning, and we're all rooting for this guy. He spent 10 years in the minor leagues, made his major league debut against these same Orioles the last time the M's and the O's faced each other, and one of the first guys he called is in the other dugout. Adam Jones, or actually right now he's out in center field. They played together in rookie ball, but Jones told me he was really proud of Mike for persevering and said it's a reminder just how hard it is to get to this level. But the two of them very close. Dave?
Thank you, Angie. Yeah, that was fun seeing those guys interact back at Camden Yards last May, in the month of May. Here's Gutierrez, followed by Mike Wilson and Jack Wilson. Jim Johnson, the veteran right-hander, came on to get the final out of the 6th inning in relief of Brian Mattis, the starter, who went 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. With 2 to Goody. Upstairs. Inside to Gutierrez. Jim Johnson out of Johnson City, New York, lives in Sarasota, Florida. Been with the Baltimore organization his entire career. Pineda, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk through 7. And Goody's worked the full count. Mike Wilson on deck. Another broken bat, slow roller. Reynolds looks over to Markakis. Retiring Gutierrez. Here's what Pineda's done through 7. More than likely he's done.
Season high, career high pitches for him, 106, 103 the previous high. 7 strikeouts for Michael, just the 1 walk. Had to work hard in that last inning, giving up 6 hits, only 1 earned run for him.
I think the sign we were looking for, Mike, was the walks, because that was what kind of went haywire in his last start. Good to see that he's back where we're used to seeing Michael Pineda with the 1 walk over 7 innings.
We talked to the coaching staff. He's such a good learner. Makes a mistake and rarely repeats it. Top of your pitching rotation. 2 of the best talents in baseball. Alex Hernandez, he'll go tomorrow against the Rays. The Rays will send out James Shields. And combined numbers of these guys, that includes up to the minute with Pineda. 1-2 to Mike Wilson. Another broken bat. Markakis, does he win the race? Just barely. They darn sure did not want to collide with Mike Wilson either, as Eric Wedge out of the dugout 2nd time, this time to speak with James Hoy.
Markakis a little bit surprised. He looked up and the pitcher Johnson never went over to cover. Had to hustle in the end. Mike Wilson was running hard the entire way, and boy, it was really close. Almost beat it out. Take another look at it.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Woo-hoo. Yeah, Dewey's just got him. We're talking to somebody, first base coach recently. Mike Brumley was saying, he said they rarely miss those bangers. He said, because Mike says sometimes, he's right there. And he said it's amazing how many they do get right.
Yeah.
Like in the high 90% area.
Maybe something like that. It looks like he had it right, but we had to look at it 3 times.
Yeah, right?
On a replay to find out, slow it down.
Yeah. A good job by James Hoy. Jack Wilson, he drove in the Mariners' only run. That was back in the 2nd inning. It got ahead in the count 2-0 against Mattis. Singled to center. Olivo was at second, having singled and taken second on a deep fly ball to center. And Jack Wilson with another base hit. The A cuts it off. The Mariners came to life with 2 hits. Well, with 2 outs last night. That was in the 8th inning. Here we are in the 7th with 1 on and 2 outs. 2-hit day for Jack Wilson. Nice job for Jack. He hadn't played since Sunday. Luis Rodriguez, switch hitter. He'll turn around and hit left-handed. If you're wondering, Jack Wilson, 5 out of 6 in base stealing. Right to the second baseman. And the Mariners are done in the 7th. Still locked up at 1-1 here at Safeco. One ball game. 8th inning. Dave Sims, Mike Bowers, Dan Wilson sitting in today. Roof extended. 57 degrees at first pitch. 18,000 and change here on hand. And Michael Pineda goes 7 innings. He'll get another no decision. It'll be his 3rd of the year.
Really did a nice job, though. We talked about him struggling in his last outing. Came right back today's game. Threw a lot of pitches. 106. Was able to work through 7 innings. Really not many balls hit hard off of him at all. Just 1 walk in the game, but was in command of it, I thought, the entire game. But 1 solo home run. Hurt him early in the ball game, but after that, it really settled down and has pitched well again.
Yeah, it seemed like did a nice job of getting ahead of the hitters and then throwing his pitches that were out of the strike zone to get those swinging strikeouts. And like you said, Mike was in control of the game all along.
Jamie Wright takes over, faced the top of the Baltimore Oriole. PA, Jones, and Markakis.
You look at the numbers for Jamie Wright, a 1.46 ERA, 24 2/3 innings pitched for him, 16 strikeouts, opponent's average is 205.
Strike to PA, didn't seem like the call there from Bill Miller. Foul. PA 1 for 2 against Jamie Wright. Home run by Hardy in the 2nd, a Jack Wilson RBI in the bottom half of the 2nd. The only 2 runs here today. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Tag applied to PA. He's gone. Jamie Wright strikes out his first hitter. How about Adam Jones? Makes a fabulous catch in the 4th inning, taking extra bases away from Miguel Olivo. A wonderful catch. Reasonable comparison to Ken Griffey Jr.'s Spider-Man catch. 1-0 to Jones. Got an infield hit. Got a solid base hit to center. Back in the third, 2 for 3 today. 10 for 19 this year against the Mariners. There's the Adam Jones catch on the left course, the Ken Griffey Jr. Spider-Man catch. That was on the right. Adam Jones came out unscathed. Junior broke his wrist on that one, right?
I don't think it was that one. There was another one, but I mean, we see him make that catch a lot in the Kingdome. Did a nice job of protecting himself most of the time, but the one off of, I believe it was Kevin Bass, was the one that he broke his wrist on.
Oh, that's hit a long ways. That is trouble. That is a home run. Upper tank. Adam Jones, just like Mark Reynolds did 2 days ago. And Baltimore's got a 2-1 lead. No doubt about it. 3-hit day for Adam Jones. Boy, did he crush that one on a 2-1 pitch. That makes him 11 for 20 against the Mariners in 2011.
Yeah, he gets a fastball. Looks like it's right on the inside corner. Clears his hips, throws his hands, and it goes into the upper deck. Adam had a nice month of May, hitting .343 for the month of May, and he's carrying it over here on June 1st with 3 hits, including that home run.
So a couple of homers today by the Orioles. Here's Markakis. The Orioles entered today the 8th best hitting home run team in the league. Those 2 home runs gets him up to 50. Check down to third base. Mike Walensky said he didn't go 1-1.
Mike, the hit by Jones right there with that sinker running down and in. That's a tough pitch to keep fair. But Jones able to get inside that ball just enough to get his barrel to it. And you saw what happens to it when you can get the barrel to it. It'll jump. But that's a tough pitch that's usually hard to stay fair.
That's a good piece of hitting on his part. You can see his hips clear, and with that, leading with the knob of the bat. Didn't roll over on it at all. Tough to do.
Chopper down to Jack Wilson. 2 outs. All signs point towards riding Sound Transit and saving a ton of money on gas and parking. Visit soundtransit.org for details. J.J. Hardy, he homered into the bullpen. Orioles bullpen, and then an upper deck shot by Adam Jones. Here's Matt Wieters. A home run for Jones, his 7th and his 30th RBI. Jack Wilson stayed with it. That was an Ephus pitch over to Smoke to retire Wieters. That ball was hit hard. Mariners got to get to work. Down a run, 2-1. Baltimore here at Safeco Field. Baltimore a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. In time for a Geico quote, and it concerns Michael Saunders, who's going to lead off here in the 8th inning. It's all about the Stanley Cup Finals beginning tonight with his beloved Vancouver Canucks taking on the Boston Bruins.
It's very exciting. I said, as long as we get past, I don't know how Chicago was an A seed to begin with, but I said, as long as we get past the Blackhawks in the first round, we're going to be Stanley Cup. And so, yeah, obviously exciting times. Guys are trying to take bets on me right now. I don't know why they bet against the Canucks, but they always say that the number 1 seed heading into the playoffs, I mean, they won, they were first place in the entire NHL, has that, I don't know if you can say Boston curse anymore, but has that sort of curse on them that they don't win. So this is a big year for us.
This is big. I mean, this is the first time they made it since you were 8 years old. This is kind of when you became a Canucks fan. Are you going to be able to process if they actually win it all?
Yeah, I'm going to be pretty excited. Unfortunately, I left my jersey back home in Arizona, but I'm sure I'll find a way to get another one. Luckily, we got a day game tomorrow, which is huge for Game 1. I've caught, I think, maybe 2 periods out of the entire playoffs so far, and so I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night. Me and the wife are going to go somewhere. She knows she's coming in second place, a close second. I need to add that, close second, tomorrow night for 3 hours, and maybe 4, hopefully. But, yeah, it's going to be fun tomorrow night. I'm excited.
Third time for Vancouver. The Canucks in the Stanley Cup final. The Islanders won, I want to say 82, and then 94 they lost to the Rangers in New York. They take on the Boston Bruins. And Stanley Cup Finals action, which begins tonight. You're a hockey guy, Dan Wilson. Who do you got?
I like the Canucks. I do. I like. My team was the Blackhawks, so I wouldn't be too disappointed if the Canucks ended up winning it because you like losing to the champs. So I'm with Michael on that.
All right, sounds good. The Bruins haven't had a Stanley Cup winner, I believe, since the poor Esposito days. 2-1, 2-1 is the score here. 1-1 to each. 2 for 3 day. Facing his countryman Koji Yohara. Adam Kennedy, beg your pardon, Adam Kennedy. Be ready for some pinch hit duty coming up. Necessary in the 9th inning. Koji Yohara, in his 3rd season with Baltimore, was with the Yomiuri Giants from '99 to 2008. Picked up 32 saves back in 2007.
Mariners have David Pauly throwing in their bullpen. Nice ERA, 2.78, 22 2/3 innings pitched from 28 strikeouts to just 5 walks.
Ichiro's 2 for 3 against him from last month. Down away.
There's David. He's really done a nice job. ERA 0.84.
I'd say he's been a guy that's gotten a lot of work out of there too, Mike, and he's been a guy they've called upon in a couple of different roles. Comes out for a couple innings, comes out for short stints.
Ooh, Ichiro called out on strikes on a 1-2 pitch from Yohara.
Yeah, you're right, Dan. He's had to throw multiple innings at times too. We'll have to take a look at this last pitch down at the bottom of the strike zone. I think Ichiro thought that pitch was low, didn't like the call.
Two outs here in the 8th brings up Brendan Ryan. 0 for 3 today. Hitting streak on the line. And his hitting streak to 11 games with a 2 for 4 night last evening. Another one-run game for the Mariners. Row 2 here. Ryan to right field. PA towards the line. He's got good speed, and he runs it down. Yohara throws a clean 8th. 9th inning coming up. Orioles by a run.
Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Snoqualmie Casino, Seattle's premier entertainment, gaming, and dining destination. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Sterling Savings Bank. Visit sterlingsavingsbank.com. We were talking about the Stanley Cup Finals opening up today. I'm curious, Dan Wilson, you used to play hockey, the similarities between being a goalie in hockey and catching.
Yeah, there are a lot, and I think the main objective is to keep everything in front of you, Dave.
Better. He shoots, he scores. Shoot that puck, score that goal. Here's David Pauly. Look at that ERA, 0.84. And I tell you what, most of the outings, guys, he has been very clean. He's been very clean in just about every appearance he's made this year. First pitch to Luke Scott. It's down low. Scott, Hardy, and Reimold here in the ninth. To Scott.
You know, Michael, we were talking about earlier about the confidence in that clubhouse. It comes out to the pitching staff as well in the bullpen. These guys coming into the ball games, just coming in and doing an outstanding job. Just they're pitching with a lot of confidence.
Well, David has been great this year, and I think anytime you look at the overall numbers of a pitcher for him, 32 in the third innings pitched. But when you can combine the amount of hits he's given up plus the walks, and they're not even close to the amount of innings he's pitched, you're doing a pretty good job. 5 walks for him when he's given up only 18 hits.
2-1 to Scott. Off the end of the bat, Rodriguez charges. 1 out. Don't forget, when you're traveling outside the Northwest this season, make sure you take the Mariners wherever you go. Subscribe to MLB.tv today. You'll see every Mariners game live or on demand on your computer or on your favorite devices. Go to Mariners.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Strike one to J.J. Hardy, 1-1. Hardy with a home run in the second. Struck out looking. Base hit the left in the seventh. Kevin Gregg, we have not seen him in his first 2 games. There's Rick Adair, the former Mariner pitching coach. He's the bullpen coach for Baltimore.
He will pitch in the bottom of the 9th inning, and so I would imagine we'll see Kennedy and Cust come off the bench.
2-2, nobody on, 1 out. Didn't go, full count. On deck hitters Nolan Reimold. Payoff pitch, dribbled foul. Fielded by Willie Randolph.
Sequence right there, Mikey. Pauly went in tight on the 2-2 pitch. Didn't get the strike and then went down and away on that 3-2 pitch. And Hardy just able to foul it off, but Mariner pitcher's really moving the ball around well.
Ryan, oh, nice hop. Plays it well. Flips over. We'll throw out the Baltimore shortstop with 2 outs now.
Along with swinging the bat well, Brendan Ryan has done a nice job at short. The ball does come up. It's hit firmly. It comes up. Makes it a little bit easier play for him after he makes the adjustment, stays with it.
We'll bring up Reimold. 1 for 3, base hit to left in the second inning. Mariners trailing by a run. They had late inning lightning last night. 8th inning, 3-run homer by Smokus Heimel fouls off, strike 2. Oh, 2 from Pauly. Oh, it hit him.
Wow. It seemed like it was a foul ball to me.
Eric Wedge coming out.
It even sounded like it hit the bat.
Yeah, usually you go by sound on those, and you're right, Mike. It did sound like it hit the bat. It sounded loud.
And it seemed to me like it was more of a check swing, so he's making an attempt, not just diving out of the way. We'll take a look and see if we can tell.
Looks like he got that wrist.
Yeah.
It changed. He got the wrist. Oh, it hit him. Absolutely. Pauly needs to get Mark Reynolds here. Ball 1. Reynolds strikeout, looking, swinging, and a walk today. Oriole runs on home runs by Hardy and Jones. Jack Wilson, a second inning RBI single. The only run for the Mariners. One and 1. Jack Wilson also checked in with a base hit, 2 outs in the 7th. That was the first hit for the Mariners since the 3rd inning. Oriole pitching in innings 4 through 8. Held the Mariners to just 1 hit. Pauly, a native of Colorado, out of Longmont, Colorado. Started 15 games for the Mariners last year. Ran up a record of 4-9 this year. He has made his mark as a long guy, and he's been super effective. Two one to Reynolds. Bounce to Ryan. Short way. Jess got him. That'll do it here in the 9th. Home 9th coming up. Last licks for the Mariners. Smoke Olivo Gutierrez are scheduled. And you'll have Kevin Gregg coming in for the Baltimore Orioles, who lead it 2-1. Month of May 15 and 11. Take you back to Saturday against the Yankees, against the great Mariano Rivera. Little looper into center field off the bat of Adam Kennedy wins that ball game. Adam Kennedy, part of the big moments in the month of May for the Seattle Mariners. Everybody's going to rally, even the don't drop the kid. That's the young lady that got her bottle earlier, about 1:20, so she had her nap and is ready to go. But here's Smoke to lead it off. Mariners need a run to tie, 2 to win. Kevin Gregg takes over. Got 8 saves on the season. Born in and still lives in Corvallis, Oregon. All 2 strikes to Justin. Fouled off.
8 saves in the 11 chances that he has had, 3.5 ERA. 18 walks in the 20 and the third innings. He can get wild.
It's 1-2. Look out. How about this number that they have on Gregg? He's gone 3-ball count on 31 of the 93 hitters he's faced. That's a third of his hitters. Ajita time. And he strikes out Smoke. One out here in the Mariners' 9th. That's going to bring up Miguel Olivo. Miguel 1 for 7 against Kevin Gregg. Adam Kennedy gets some stretching, I think. Could be called on here. Oh, that took a weird hop. Bandino throws out Olivo. 2 outs.
Yeah, it looked like Miguel hit it right off the end of the bat. Side spin on that ball. An easy play for Andino. Down to the last out.
That brings up Franklin Gutierrez. He's 1 for 1 against Gregg. Goody center field crew. Breaking ball paints the corner. 1-1. Texas has beaten Tampa Bay 3-0. Yankees lead Oakland 4-2 bottom 9, and Angels and KC just underway 2-1. Mariners, unless they get something going, lose a game to the Texas Rangers in the standings. Here's Gregg 3-1. Well,
true to the statistics, 3 hitters, one 3-ball count here, Dave.
Fly ball center field. Jones sauntering back. He's going to put this one away, and that's going to do it as the Orioles salvage a game in this series. A home run ball for the Baltimore Orioles proved to be mighty handy for him. Hardy and Jones. 2-1 is the final. Adam Jones with a big catch to prevent some damage as get a group hug in the outfield. So the Mariners lose a game in the standings to the Texas Rangers. Gregg picks up a save. Michael Pineda, no decision.
Well, and I think most of the time you say solo home runs won't beat you, but that's not the case today. A couple of solo home runs for the Orioles. Pineda, a nice bounce-back game for him. He really threw the ball well today. Deserved a better fate than what he ended up with. Mariners offensively just could not get anything going, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they just weren't able to get any runners on base. And they had the one RBI single by Jack Wilson early in the ball game, but just weren't able to muster up anything later on in the ball game. And got to hand it to the Baltimore pitching. They did a nice job as well.
All right, we'll be back with you tomorrow night. The Tampa Bay Rays are in for 4 games. That's a good ball club, and we hope you can come out to the ballpark and watch us here on Root Sports. Let's get out to Brad and Bill.
Gentlemen, thank